Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bullet Basics. It has been a while, but we are back and we have got a ton of content lined up for you guys. Honestly, we're so excited. Today, as you saw in the video description, we are going to be talking about the M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus. Now, the Shield Plus has been out for a couple of years now, I think since roughly the middle of 2021, and we've had it for a little while as well. There are a ton of reviews out there. You can go and see them and people breaking the gun down and doing all different kinds of things. We don't intend to do any of that today. Really, what we intend to do with this video, as you can imagine, is just talk about some of the things that we really like about the gun to help you kind of narrow down if you're looking for a concealed carry gun, some of the good things about it, what may sway you toward one gun or toward another gun. As you can see in this video, we're going to be talking about the 4+1 reasons that we like the M&P, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus. So let's get into it with the number one thing. I don't have these in any particular order. I kind of try to do a most significant to least significant, but really a lot of it is kind of my personal preference in some ways. And so I'm just going to put them in there and we're going to go with it. So the first one is reliability. Now, any concealed carry gun that you're going to potentially be carrying with you all the time, one of the number one things has to be reliability. You want to be able to rely on the gun to fire when you pull the trigger, right? The Shield has been out for years and years. The original Shield, the 1.0, had a very good track of reliability, and the Shield Plus has continued that. We put a couple hundred rounds through ours, and it has been 100% reliable. It's been great. We haven't had any issues with it. And so that is the number one thing, is that making sure that the gun that you may carry, and any gun for that matter, you want it to work. When you pull the trigger, you want it to shoot. And when you don't pull the trigger, you don't want it to shoot, right? And that is something absolutely with the Shield Plus is a huge thing. It's completely reliable, at least the one that we've used, and so many people have said the same thing. Okay, the second thing that we really enjoy about the Shield Plus is the grip. Kind of the grip texture, the whole overall feel of the grip. The M&P line of pistols has a really generally very ergonomic, very good feel to their pistols. This is no exception. In fact, one of the least comfortable M&P pistols was the Shield for me, right? It's smaller, it's narrow, it's got, it's just not quite as comfortable. The grip texture wasn't as aggressive. They've kind of fixed all of that with the Shield Plus because they're fitting a larger magazine in there, right? A magazine that holds 10 rounds. I don't know if you can see that. Versus the magazine that held 7 in the original one. It's a little bit fatter. And, usually when we're talking concealed carry, or at least me and a lot of people like me, like smaller, narrower, kind of the smaller the gun, the better, fit as much ammo as you can. Well, with this one, it's a little bit bigger, but not substantially bigger than the original Shield. And consequently, it feels just a little bit better. I feel like when you pick it up, it's just like, it doesn't, it's not uncomfortable. It just feels good. And when you combine that with the more aggressive grip texture, it's not like total sandpaper where it's just uncomfortable against your skin or anything like that. It's right in between. It's got this really strong grip. It feels like you can grip that gun really well, and it just makes for an overall great experience when holding the gun. Let's get into the third reason. The third reason is the trigger. Now, I'm going to keep comparing to the original Shield because though it was a phenomenal gun, I have it. I love it. There have been some serious upgrades, in my opinion, to the original one, to the Shield Plus. One of those upgrades is the trigger. One of the things they got rid of was the hinge portion of the trigger. It's just a fixed trigger, so to speak, and it doesn't have that weirdness to what the M&P line had for a long time. That, to me, alone is huge. The other thing is that it just the trigger feels better. Now, it's not the best polymer trigger out there. I mean, just look in the comment section here. So people talk about the better triggers here, better triggers there, depending on which line you go with. However, with that said, for a concealed carry gun, stock trigger, it's pretty good. I'm not going to complain about it anyway, and especially comparing to some of the others out there. So in the end, you're getting a good trigger. No, it's not the best trigger, but you're getting a good trigger, and that's all you really need when you're concealed carrying a gun. You're going to go and train and practice with it, but you just want a good trigger that's going to feel good and help you be more accurate. Okay, so let's get into reason number 4 that we like the M&P Shield Plus, and that has to do with the capacity. Now, any of these micro-compact, high-capacity pistols, I don't think you can get through any of these types of discussions without talking about capacity and how great it is, right? It all started with the SIG P365 when they were able to upgrade the amount of rounds they're in these pistols, right? The M&P Shield had 7+1 before. Well, now it has 10+1, right? So they're able to get a substantial more number of rounds more into the gun. And so that's a big deal, right? And that's something that is ubiquitous now. We see it pretty much on every new small gun that's coming out. But I don't think that it's insignificant. I think it's actually really important, right? Who doesn't want to have more rounds when they leave, right? When they have with them in a gun without having to do any mag changes or anything like that. I think everybody would vote for more rounds, especially if you're not really getting a larger gun, right? We could all carry a Glock 17 or a full-size gun like that, but most of us don't want to do that. We want to have a small gun, but if you can have a small gun and not give up any of that round count or much in the way of round count, why not? So with the Shield Plus, you're really not giving up much. You get the small gun and the high capacity, so it's a win in our opinion. All right, let's get into the fifth reason, or the +1 reason, and that has to do with the overall feel. Now, we've already touched on this a little bit with the grip, right? We said that the grip felt good, the texture, and it was a little fatter and all that. But really, this reason has to do with the fact that the M&P Shield is a small gun, but it doesn't feel like a small gun, right? You pick up a lot of these, and it was like a race to the smallest gun in some ways. And I like them all. Honestly, I like to be able to have a small gun, even if it means it's more snappy or whatnot, or lower capacity. But the Shield Plus, almost, it's like that sweet spot where you haven't gone too small that it feels like this tiny little thing, like the Noisy Cricket from Men in Black, but it's not a Glock 17 or an M&P 9 or anything like that. It's a good mix between the two. It just has this feel where I feel like I have a substantial gun that I'm carrying, and you get the 10 rounds like we just talked about. But it's also it's concealable. It's not too much. So there you have it. You have our 4 +1 reasons for why we like the M&P Shield Plus. We'd like to hear your thoughts down below if you agree with those 5 reasons, or something that you would have replaced one of our five reasons with. And with that, we will see you next time.